Good evening and welcome to tonight's regional news. The South American trade bloc Mercosur, along with other countries in the region on Sunday, condemned the unrest in Ecuador, saying mass demonstrations against cuts to fuel subsidies were an attempt to destabilize the government of President Lenin Moreno. The unrest has been the worst in the small South American country in more than a decade and the latest flashpoint of opposition to the International Monetary Fund in Latin America. We condemn acts of violence and attempts to destabilize the country, its institution, and the Ecuadorian democratic process, Mercosur members said in a joint statement with a group of countries including Peru, Colombia, and Chile. Moreno has defended his decision to slash fuel subsidies as a key part of his bid to clean up the country's finances. He denied it was a request made by the IMF, with which Ecuador signed a $4.2 billion deal earlier this year, angering former supporters who voted for him in 2017 as the left-leaning successor of his former ally, Rafael Correa. Brazilian Foreign Minister Ernesto Araújo said on Twitter on Sunday that leftist forces were responsible for the unrest in Ecuador. Public health workers deserve commendation for their vigilance in the drive to seek out and destroy mosquito breeding sites, as well as educate residents on how to combat mosquitoes, Whitney Smith, counselor for the Brompton Division JLP, told the monthly meeting. But for the efforts of the health department, the effects of dengue outbreak in St. Elizabeth would have been much worse, Smith said. Medical officer for St. Elizabeth, Dr. Tanaya Dawkins Behari, told the meeting that since January 2019, there have been 222 suspected cases of dengue reported in St. Elizabeth. Dr. Hawkins Behari later noted that there was one death suspected to have been caused by the mosquito-borne disease in the South Central Parish this year. Dengue, with flu-like symptoms and spread from person to person by the bite of the Aedes aegypti mosquito, has been an endemic in Jamaica since the 1970s. There have been periodic outbreaks over the last 4 decades. The Aedes aegypti also spreads chikungunya and Zika with similar symptoms, which have afflicted Jamaicans within the last decade. Common symptoms of dengue include high fever, severe headaches, pain behind the eyes, joint and muscle pain, fatigue, nausea, vomiting, skin rashes, and even bleeding in most extreme cases. And finally, in Trinidad and Tobago, Brian Felix, 40, was asked by his neighbor Alim Khan, 50, on Friday to help cut down some logs and build up a wooden structure on a parcel of land in Kamutu. The pair, who both lived off the Kamutu main road in Corial village, returned home on Friday evening, having completed some work. On Saturday, they went out back with the same intentions. However, they never returned home. Villagers from their community conducted searches to find the 2 men, Khan, a father of 2, and Felix, a father of 1. But their search ended in tragedy yesterday morning when the bodies of the 2 men were both found near where they were last seen with what appeared to have been shotgun wounds. An autopsy is expected to be performed today at the Forensic Science Center to confirm what caused their deaths. And that was all for tonight's regional news.